Hey guys, Moose here from R&M Hockey Supply. Today we're going to be going over profiling hockey blades on our Bauer ProSharp machine. We're going to go over each step in the process, and then we're going to get into what profiling truly is. So let's get started. So what is profiling? Profiling is customizing the shape of the blade from heel to toe. A lot of times this gets confused with radius of hollow. We'll get into that in another video. For this one, we'll go strictly talk about profiling. Why would you get your skates profiled? Profiling your blades can really help benefit the skater based off their body posture, their style of skating, and even their style of stride. We'll get into that. There's a bunch of different templates that you can do. There'll be another video that we're going to go over with all the different templates that we offer for the ProSharp. So today we had a customer come in with a pair of LS Pulse TIs. They're size 238. We did a profile for this customer before. He wants to go with the ellipse profile. So we're going to do that for him, get it blended up, get it sharpened, and we're going to show you each step. So let's go. All right, guys. So for the first step, what we're going to do is we're going to run these flat across here to make sure that both blades are even and exactly the same height before we start cross grinding. I had to do a pair of these not too long ago, so I need to dress the wheel, totally flatten it out, get a fresh cut on this. So first we'll turn the machine on. We're gonna get it set up to our flat hollow. All right, so I'm gonna clean the wheel up before we get started. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this up to our flat hollow, dress the wheel, get it totally clean before we start this profiling process. Put our guard on, fire up the machine. Very lightly dress the wheel, clean it up. All right, so the cool thing with the new AS 2001 is it's got a wider channel so that it can hold both steels, so it's going to profile blades at the same time. So you know both your steels are going to be the same exact shape from the first time you use them. So we're going to take our magnetic clip here. Very important to make sure that the blades are together and even. You don't want to offset them like this because obviously you're going to have two totally different shapes. So you want to make sure that you're nice and even. Tend to use the side of the wall here, kind of help straighten it out. Once I get them clipped together, throw them in the machine. I'm going to get the center line of the steel measured up right in the middle of the holder. And we're going to run this a couple times, like I said, just to flatten it out, totally straighten it out. Make sure our blades are the same exact height. All right, guys, so now that we're totally flat and our blades are totally even, we're going to measure out the skating surface. The skating surface is going to be the part that's getting profiled. That's just going to vary based off the size of the steel. So what we have here is on our ProSharp, we have our measuring stick. So a lot of the new steels, the steels will come with this CL that you'll see up top. All that states is just the center line of the blade. So we're going to measure that up with the center line on our stick here. And then we're going to measure out the marks of the size of the blade. So we have a 238 on the toe. We have our center line. And we have our 238 on the heel. So this is going to be the skating surface of the blade. This is the part of the area that we're really focusing on. That's the part that's going to be profiled. All right, so now that we have our marks lined up for our skating surface, we're going to line it up with the other steel. Same process as before. Get the blades lined up together, make sure they're perfectly even. Check on the wall here. Perfect. Okay, now our blades are set up. So now we have to set up the machine. So today we're going to be using an ellipse double extra small. Lock it in place. Make sure we're even. Perfect. Now we're going to drop our blades into the machine. So we want our center line of the blade. We want our center line with the blade lined up with our pivot point on the machine. Drop that in. We're gonna make sure that nothing moved. Look good. So now what we have to do is we have to measure out where the wheel's gonna start hitting. We want that to start hitting in that first mark we made back on the heel. And that's gonna start our process of profiling and get to our focus on our main skating surface. So with the machine off, what we're gonna do is we're gonna move the sled over to the right, which is gonna push the wheel up against the steel, and we wanna see where it's hitting first. So as you can see, we're hitting way back behind this mark here, so we need to adjust our wheel. Now we're starting to hit right on that mark, which is perfect, exactly where we want it. Now just to give you guys an idea as to what's gonna happen here, the ellipse has a built-in forward pitch to the profile. So as we're running, the wheel is gonna be grinding across the steel, and you'll see a gap here from this grinding bearing to the template. Now what that means is the steels out of the box are going to be a little bit heavier on the toe. So since we have gap here, the wheel's going to be hitting the steel, which means we're going to be grinding off more on the toe than we are the heel, which is what we want. All right, so our steels are set up, our wheels lined up in place. So the only thing to do now is turn the machine on and let the machine do the work. All right, guys, so we're all finished. All finished grinding up the steel. We have our ellipse template built into the blade now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it out. Now the next step is kind of key. We're not quite done yet. As you can see here, is we have a nice little point here. Basically what that did was we put a forward pitch into the blade. You're not going to profile this part of the blade, so we need to blend this out to make it a nice, even, consistent shape so you don't catch that little point when you're skating. We want it to be nice and round and smooth and blend right into the profile that we put in there. All right, guys, so same thing. We got both blades in our holder here. What we're going to do is we're going to blend these out at the same time so that we know we're getting the same shape. All right, guys, so we're all blended out now. We're almost done, but not quite there yet. As you can see, we got rid of that point. We're in a nice, consistent, round shape here. You can feel there's no points or no off spots anywhere in the toe. So our last step is, since we use our cross grinder to blend that, we're going to throw it on the profiler one more time, just so that we get a nice, smooth, even, consistent shape before we put our sharpening on it. All right, guys, so we are all set. We're all flat, consistent, and ready for a sharpening now. So we're just going to do a quick stone on these, clean the edges up a little bit. And now we're ready to sharpen. All right, guys, so we are all set. These blades now have an ellipse profile on them with that 1/2 inch hollow. They are ready to hit the ice. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe to our page. Profiling is something you're interested in. Check out the links in our description and we'll get you set up with the right template. And as always, get geared up with R&M Hockey Supply.